Hey everyone, you're welcome back. Today I've got important news and update for you if you're planning to visit Canada or someone you know is planning to come to Canada. Canada just dropped a new policy bomb on visit visa or visitors visa as you know it, and is shaking things up for people who are hoping for these long-term multiple visa entries. So let's dive in. So here's how it works, or how it used to work. If you applied for a Canadian visiting visa, RRCC will generally give you a multiple entry visa that match the validity of your passport. If your passport was valid for like 10 years, you'll get a 10 years visa with multiple entry, and that's been the standard. But right now, that's changing, because going forward the length and the type of visa that you get will be at the discretion of the visa officer processing that application. This means that you could decide, or he could decide, to give you a single entry visa, a visa for just about 6 months or a year, or even limit it to how many times you can enter Canada. And honestly, this shift feels similar to, if you remember the Schengen visa process in Europe, where the purpose for your trip actually dictates the type and the duration of your visa. So this is what is coming back to us here in Canada, so you need to be updated about this. So what does this mean to applicants and those that are wanting to come to Canada to come and visit? Well, a lot of more factors are in play right now. You might see a couple of people getting visas with just 6 months, like I mentioned, or even 1 year validity, and some may only just get a single entry visa. The officer will look at things generally, like why you are visiting Canada, whether you are likely to visit frequently, or you're coming to visit family, for instance, or you just have one thing or the other to do in Canada, like a business, or you have an event. These are things that they would prioritize and be able to dictate whether they're giving you a 6 months or a 1 year, or just one single entry into Canada. They will also consider your travel history, your financial situation, your employment status. They want to see if you have ties, or you are likely to comply with the rules of Canada, or you're trying to come to Canada for this purpose and then go back to your country. So these are things that they would look around within the application process. They are also big on you being able to support yourself during those multiple visits. So if you are not able to, based on the documents that you have submitted, they would decide to give you maybe a single entry or a multiple. It depends on the officer, so I'm not a visa official, but these are the things that are changing in this process. So now, for anyone who already has a visa, there are no needs for any of you to stress about these things, because you already have the visa in your passport, right? So you don't need to fret, and it's still valid as long as it takes it to expire. But for those who have applications pending, you've already submitted your applications for visa, this could impact you. As the policy does not state clearly whether it applies to new applicants or applications, or to existing ones, so you might just fling it either way for you. But you need to know ahead of time that this will impact you if you are a new applicant, or you are just putting your application for visa. So you are waiting for a decision, and you don't have to be surprised, because all these outcomes would not come as you expect. You probably won't get the 10-year visa that you expect, or that which will be given to you with the validity of your passport expiring. So this you have to know ahead of time. Why is this change, or why is Canada just giving this sudden change? Well, it seems like it's a part of the government's efforts to regulate the number of people that are coming into Canada. And we've talked about this so many times, as restricting immigrants in so many ways, and the constant change of the immigration process, and things that are changing every time. So this possibly maybe to show that they're addressing the issue of the rising immigrants in Canada. Well, we don't know, but by controlling visa lengths or the visa entries, they are trying to limit the flow of visitors in a way. And that shows that they are serious about managing immigration numbers. But hey, we are definitely in times where these policies can shift constantly. Policies are constantly changing, and like we know that the elections are also near. These are things that might impact the decisions for immigration. So just to be clear, if you already have a visa or a valid visa in your passport, you're safe. But those with applications in progress, this change could impact your visa or your applications. The policy doesn't specify if it's just for new applications or pending ones too. So we will have to wait. We'll have to wait it out, and we'll just see how this plays out. So another day, another update. There's always updates, so let's keep our eyes open. There's always constant updates with this government. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about these updates, and is it going to impact anyone that you know or even yourself? Are you putting an application through already, and what are your fears? There's also an update. Okay, let's talk about another big update that just broke the news, and this is regarding those of you that are planning to study in Canada. IRCC just dropped another one on us, and this time they are putting an end to the student direct stream, that's the SDS, and the Nigerian Student Express applications immediately. And these fast track options for study permits are officially gone, guys. These are officially gone. So now let's talk about what this means for future students. Let's break it down, or let's even rewind and go a bit back to talk about what these programs have been all about in the first place. So first off, what was the SDS? And this is the student direct stream, and this was a fast-tracked study permit process for students from about 14 countries, including India, Pakistan, China, Vietnam, and so many other countries. And if you were eligible, you would just get to skip the regular wait times and jump ahead of line for the study permit. And this was a process. There was also the Nigerian Students Express, which is similar program for students from Nigeria, but both of these programs gave students a bit of a shortcut, for them to meet their requirements, like showing their language scores, like their proof of funds, up front, also having their medicals done, and also proof that they have tuition, that they could pay their way through the school for at least 1 year. But now both streams are shut down. IRCC wants to make the process fair and equal for everyone, since not all the countries have access to these expedited options, and they call it expedited. But in my own opinion, I don't see if this was actually an expedited action or process in the first place, but they want to ensure that all other countries partake in this. So they just want everyone to apply for this study permits, to have the same process regardless of their nationality. And I think this is fair. It's understandable, when you think about it, because not all countries have access to these fast options. So I think this is a good option for every other country within, every other country that wants to partake in this option to be able to have a leg in. So this also means that everyone now has to go through the same regular study route permit, which means that there's no special fast track options anymore. And let's be real, this expedited process wasn't always the fastest anyway. People still had to wait forever, even defer programs while waiting for this approval. So in some ways this might change and maybe dramatic, like it sounds. So we don't know, but at least this announcement has gone out and it is immediate effect. So now if you are wondering what this means for you as a future applicant, here's the deal. From now on, if you're applying through the regular study permit, remember that a few things can make or break your applications, and your language skills, your proof of funds. You know, these are huge things that are expected of you to have. So technically the regular study permit does not require a language test or even a specific amount of funds for you upfront, you know. And I'm talking about the GIC, the guaranteed investment certificate. It wasn't really mandatory anymore, but these things are strongly recommended. So if you want to have like an edge, you want to keep that in mind. So IRCC still values this, and you want to keep that in mind. And if you have this GIC, which is around $20,000, definitely include it in your application to give you a better chance. And if you don't, try to show an equivalent amount so IRCC knows you can still cover tuition for living expenses. That's most important for them to know. So another important tip is, if you are planning to study in Canada, choose a program that aligns with the in-demand fields. You know, we've talked about this a lot, so that you'll be able to transit into, you know, your work permits. You know, if you do go on to programs like having a diploma or a graduate certificate programs, you'll be able to be eligible for a postgraduate work permit, so that helps you to transit. Otherwise, you're going back to your country. You know, this can be a game changer for you for staying here and continue to work here in Canada after your graduation. And this is essential for you if you're hoping to build a future here. So that's something for you to think about and put that in your plan. If you're going for a diploma program or a graduate certificate program, pick something that aligns with Canada's priority fields or their occupations that are in demand here. That is so crucial. If you are applying for study permits in Canada, there's no more special fast track options, just the standard application process. Focus on making the application as strong as possible with your language skills and your proof of funds, and then choosing the right program to set yourself up for success here in Canada. So that's the update, guys. That's the two updates I brought for you here. Let me know in the comment section how it affects you or how it affects somebody that you know or love. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow this channel for more updates that can help your journey here in Canada. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next vlog. Bye, guys.